It's been a very long time, and as you saw from the intro, this is basically the Suplex update. As we're going into really just character eyes or character insects main attack, and well, heavy attack, I should say. More importantly, I also nerfed this move, so now it only goes like 40% across the screen. But this attack in particular does 20% damage, so you cut through your opponent's health real quickly with it. As you can see, the camera does track when you're in your 3D form. Obviously, once it's actually in the game, the grab will only grab what's in front of them. It will, of course, still go through blocks like many grabs do in other games. Something I did have to do for the 2D forms, just because they're a bit weirder right now, is they actually lock the screen in place. And as you can see, it does look kind of funky. But once you grab a 2D character with another 2D character, it looks fine. It's really just the inverse of it when you're grabbing a 3D character that it makes it look weird. And with this, I also had to create grabbed animations for all the characters, which you gotta see a decent bit of. They're a bit hard to see just because how big the hands on Character Insek are right now. But basically, they kind of like turn around and squirm. So if you just really pay attention, you might get a good look at it. But of course, we'll take a better look at them here in just a second. We're just kind of going through all the characters as they get grabbed. This has taken an extremely long time to get to. I've been dealing with a lot of just real life things, moving, and kind of just making myself have time for this has been a bit more difficult than it should have been. I like doing the grab animations because everything had to get programmed so interesting. There's so many things going on with sockets now because they have to have the hands go in front of the other character in your 2D form as well is like especially interesting to do. To make sure that one hand's always behind and one hand's always in front. I guess unlike in that situation where both hands were in front, so something a bit weird was going on there. So sad times. Not working as it's supposed to. Though in a reliable situation, it would not do that. Though I suppose all I gotta do actually is change the grab point because it's probably going backwards with the character and just it's like a render order priority thing. I guess you could also just lower the priority of character I overall, but that wouldn't help much because then you run into another character I and be the same situation. Oh Jeebus. But yeah, works there. Works there. So it's kind of just random, I guess. But there is fix. Well, there should be a fix. Let me see if I can just get it to work normally right now. Otherwise, that's just another slight issue to worry about. Because there's another thing to worry about right now, which is for this form. Sometimes maybe it's the lower 3D form, but yeah, you can see. I guess me pointing at it doesn't help. But like right around there on the character, you can see his jaw kind of coming through. I'm trying to think of the terms. I knew the term. I have it written down literally for this. His mandibles, yeah, his mandibles are kind of just poking out of it. So I just need to fix the rigging a bit more. I already had to fix the rigging just for the sake of when he goes upside down when he's grabbed by another one of himself, or even when he just goes upside down on his own. So let's look at then at this. Obviously, when you're going as your 2D form or 3D form of the other character, you're always going to go behind. Boom. The issue seems to be here. So let's pop. Yeah, so some sort of stacking or priority issue that comes particularly with the vector form. Other forms seem to be doing their job appropriately. So that's always interesting. Could just be a matter of wherever things are coming from. But let's just take some look at animations, and that's something I could easily fix later because it's really just pushing the character slightly backwards. For the grab, I actually had to make a composite because at some point these hands basically swap back and forth. So attack beginning, grab, go backwards, boom, 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 land. hit ground, release enemy, and flip back forward. Because it came from this one. Well, that's part of it I had to cut off. Other part of it I had to cut into it. Because right at the end of this, the hands technically have to flip sides and they still look exactly the same because the hands are symmetrical. And then from here, we can just start looking at all the grabbed animations, and we can look at the code afterwards. Here's a 3D grabbed animation for character I. Of course, it's the same across both 2D forms. Ignore the fact that he just has a preview on, so I guess we can turn that off. So we don't really need it. Eh. Okay, so I didn't do anything. That's cool. Oh, there we go. Cool. Nice. Anywho, he's doing his thing. He's big chillin'. Then we can go to our 2D forms. Well, I guess we can look at all the factors of it, especially for this character because it has multiple things. So heavy animation, as you can see, the hand disappears because there's all these different sockets that you can see that go along with it, where the hand in the front reattaches. So we just got to do something with the layering order on the vector form at the very least to make it go behind the others. I'm not sure why it's doing the things it's doing right now, but it's doing the things it's doing right now. And then grabbed animation, just a classic little 8-frame animation, just squirming your way about. Hopefully it'll get used more as we add more grabs into the game. Obviously, this character is a grappler, so he's gonna have a lot more grabs than other characters, but every character should have a grab in the final game. I already have pretty good ideas, at least for character Eve, E-Comp, the robot, how he's gonna go. It's gonna kinda like turn you into a tiny orb and he's gonna like fling you a little bit behind him. And that's kind of where that's at. For the zombie, I'm not quite sure because there's a lot of different ways he could grab you because he's all rubbery, like Mr. Fantastic and Luffy. So definitely a lot of options. Same thing here. I had to upload some additional frames to fix an issue, mainly because there was like a little white frame on the finger at some point. I've been dealing with a lot of issues on exporting the game and having the game crash on my computer lately, and I don't know if it's an issue with my computer just being older now because the game's always ran fine before and now it's running weirder. But then now I'm starting to change a lot of settings anyway, so hopefully it'll start running better. So obviously I still have a lot to do before I ever release this game. Is this game gonna get released this year like I hoped it was? Maybe, but I doubt it. Because I have a weird vacation coming up, so it's just a lot of weird things that are gonna run into my schedule as well. But as long as we can keep making progress, because there was a bit when I really wasn't making progress, and that kind of sucked. So the fact that we're finally making progress again, getting all these animations done, because realistically, this update should have just been like, oh, 3 animations for this character in each form: heavy attack, charge attack, jab. I got the heavy attack done for this character across all his forms. But then I also got grabbed done for all characters across all forms. So we a lot of animations actually done for this update. It just happens that this update has taken forever to work on because I actually did a bit more of the programming as you saw to get the grab working, to get it releasing, and that was a pain. That was a lot of physics to be dealing with. It was a whole mess. Like I said, we can look at the code here in a second, but now that we're done with this character, we can look at some of the other characters. 3D. Some of these aren't very organized. It's grabbed. Look at him go. Look at him go. Ah. Vector. I feel like I should just have that quote memorized and how much vector comes up with this game. Look at him go. And there's also a lot of mask translucency and translucency across the hair, translucency across the orb, across the glowing in general. It just changes as you go, and that's true for all his different forms. Next grab. Look at him go. A lot more movement going on, honestly, with this version. And that's probably true for the lower as well. If you're looking at this grab, boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Oh yeah, he is moving now. He just starts at this for 3D, goes this vector, freaking higher, and now he's just moving. He's moving. And that's the sad thing also with these characters. I have a lot of their attacks already just done in the game, animation wise. It's just going to be a matter of me sitting down, getting all this stuff programmed. Now that I especially have to have this better understanding of all these sockets, I can update, especially for a character and his main attack in the 2D forms, attach the projectile, quote unquote, just to the fist, so that actually can move along with the fist as the attack goes, rather than just kind of matching the speed of it. And then I already have something in my notes to increase the length of the charge attack. So where is it? Boom, boom, boom. So this, okay. So this attack, if I can press the right button. Right now, it doesn't go very far. Ignore that you can really still move during it, but this only goes that far. We're gonna double the length of it. We're gonna make it to where this goes full screen. And also, we're probably gonna increase the speed of this just because it's not a very good move right now, even though it doesn't do damage yet. I don't see a lot of situations where maybe an opponent can't predict it. It's like, oh, I'm already jumping in. Oh shoot, I get hit by it, but I could just punch you first. Probably. Or trade with you. So just making that faster, whether it's like 1.5 times faster, maybe 2 times faster if really necessary, but I hope we don't gotta go that far because that would be pretty crazy. Looking for that grabbed animation. It's a lot easier just to like boom boom boom. Yeah. But yeah, look at this. He's kind of like swimming away. And then look at the 2D forms. All right. And vector grabbed. Look at them go. Look at them go. Hi, Pixel. Do, 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 do. Oh, yeah. He's a bit more movement in the head for sure on this one. Holy, he's going. He's like, oh, ah, ah. And then lastly, low pixel. And then we'll look at the code. Oh, yeah. He's just chilling. Big chilling. And yeah, now look at some of the code for grabbing. A lot of it's also in the blueprint animation for the character, of course, but yeah, okay, so we're in the grab section. So this is all the grab stuff right now. This is some base template 2D. Honestly, this doesn't need to exist. Hopefully that doesn't break anything by me removing it. Cool, because nothing uses that vector grab anymore anyway. Up here we have a grab by which character filter, because it's part of like the almost event tick. We're like, oh, instead of like fixing your rotation to flip you back and forth if you're right facing, left facing, it's like, oh, are you grabbed by someone? And then we can use this now that we have a sequence here. As we go and add more grabs later on, we can, okay, are you grabbed by this character, this character, this character, and this character? Are you grabbed by character I? Cool. Is it player 1 grabbing you? Is it player 2 grabbing you? Which is like down here. And then it asks which phase they're in, because it needs to know, are you attaching to the 3D form, which is like phase 5 and 4, the vector form, which is phase 3, the higher pixel form, which is phase 2, and the lower pixel form, which is phase 1. And then it will direct you to grad by insect P1 in the various forms. Same thing with player 2, but just player 2 version. Over here, we also have a lot more of the other things that the animations themselves direct you to where it's, oh, the heavy grab is character I. Make sure that it sets the character themselves to have been grabbed by another ones, turns the collisions off, attaches them to the component socket name, whether it's the mesh, or it's like the vector character gets socket name, attaches snap to target, snap to target, keep world. Those seem to be the best options to go with. And then the character that is grabbing, setting them to be grabbing. In these 2D forms, we call pause camera, just so we got a little bit less issues to deal with, and then that won't be as big of an issue anyway once we get to it. But then again, I could foresee some issues in the future. So we might just need to smooth out the animations more, honestly, add some more frames, which, I mean, not that big of a deal, I don't think. There's just not a lot of room to work with. You'd have to just create a lot more, probably rotations on the hand and then double the speed of the animation, but even then it might not look as smooth. Okay, so I'm trying to think. Okay, so let's just say we turn this off, right? Turn off the pausing. This is P1 vector. So we can really easily show off how this looks now. Though I guess if I play as both characters, being character I, it makes it really easy too. So, vector form. Yeah, you see how many steps that takes? Weird. Whereas with this one, if you pause the camera, it makes it a little bit smoother looking. Obviously, if you're in 3D form, okay, I grabbed with the wrong character. Anywho, if you're in 3D form, it doesn't quite matter as much because it's a lot more interpolation. It's going very smoothly with you. It has a little nice upkeep. Honestly, the other option is I could just animate the camera, add that to the game where it just does a little whoop as it kind of goes with you and then reattaches with you. So yeah, I mean, all the timings are very similar because I just do the math between the frame rates, be like, okay, when is this, when is that? Or honestly, it could be something where it only changes the camera based on the Y position and that, well, it would still be just as steppy looking. So that's the issue. And that's why we have it set to doing the pause camera and resuming camera functions, which just literally pauses the camera and has the camera not update its position. So I did make some edits to the camera as well, so it zooms in a bit faster when characters get closer, as well as it has cubic interpolation rather than linear. So I don't know. To me, I can't really see much of a difference, but somehow it feels better. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. Yeah, this should have to stay that. Unless there's like a way to like attach to component and kind of have it move weirdly with it, but like you have to snap to it. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There might be a more interesting way to have it kind of like follow the socket along, but still interpolate. These are just ideas. Trying to think what the best way to show with that one, how the grab is supposed to work for making you go backwards. Probably an eye events, maybe. Gravity slam, eye attack. That's the base attack, which is still based off timers right now, which is the old way of me doing things before I learned how to use animation notifications properly. And now we've gotten that pretty down pat. I like how the end of my video is just turned to me like, oh, let's see if we can figure out where the issue's coming from. So let's look at one of the ones that is working properly. And I guess this also shows us this. So heavy grab, conferring, based off if you're character 1 or character 2, goes to high pixel grab 1, high pixel grab 2. Obviously, that name will change depending on other things. And then it's a universal release right now. Actually, sorry, not universal. There's a release based on if you're 2D or 3D because of just some various factors. Though those factors might not exist anymore because for a while I just had a lot of issues because I didn't properly set the grab socket on the release frame because I had said it went back to 0, 0 because I hadn't set it. And that was it. So the hand was in front of the character instead of behind the character since there's a lot of having to pause the rotation mechanic in my game where the characters snap back and forth to be right facing, left facing, depending on position, and you have to pause that during this animation in particular. And this one's kind of like on release, it's releasing the character and sending them back to the correct Y position. Normally for the 3D ones, they can keep the X and Z. For 2D, I guess they also keep it now. Well, actually, I'm looking at the wrong one. Here's the 2D down here. Z location of 50. And it seems to knock them to the same distance. Yeah. Right now they have a second of hits done and pushes them back 2,000. So, man, physics are fun. Kind of just keep adjusting that number until I hit an area. Like, the main thing I was going for, in all honesty, was I wanted to get a combo working. And as long as that combo is working, I'm very happy. Because this is the combo. If I can get it. Boom. Yeah! Because the idea is I don't want this to combo into itself. So, I mean, even with that distance, obviously, you're dealing with a lot more other things, but for now, boom, boom, devastating. That's like at least 30% because the grab's 20, the main attack's 10, the gravity slam, 3%. So 33% combo since there's no combo scaling currently. And even when I do add combo scaling, I think it's mainly just going to be the hit stun. I don't think I really want to combo stun damage, but I could. It really depends on how extreme this game gets with damage, especially as I finish adding damage properties, especially to the rapid jab for character N, the zombie. I need to see how that's going to function. So as you can also maybe tell, whenever you get damage now, you're no longer blinking out of existence before you refresh. So that changed. Oh, I thought my game froze for a second. Anyway, I'm trying to see where the change in heights goes. Grab. Heavy grab. You would think it would just be in here. So I'm not seeing anything right now on changing Y positions, anim events. Interesting, interesting. I don't think I ever had to like really refresh my game, but it's always possible. Let's just check here. It should have to do a lot more with like spawning in the hands. Um, Heavy attack. Oh, that's why. Heavy attack events. Yeah, so based on if you're right facing or left facing, it's supposed to either minus zero point 0.1 or plus zero point 0.2 your height. So let's see what the vector one's looking like now that we've finally found the area. I might have to just skip to this in the video to shorten it up a bit since I'm editing this anyway. Um, Heavy attack events. It's doing the same thing. I probably just need to change the height on the actual grab hand itself. Hmm. Or, well, I'm trying to think, because if you just set the other one to 0 on the Y, or to the location it's supposed to be in already, then Because that's doing that. And then it should reset itself at the end. Okay, and then this one is deactivating front hand. New Y location, relative location 0. Yeah. So setting you back in place. Whether you're front or back, whatever. And I know this was working before. So I think it's actually it is a matter of snapping them to it. So if we look at like vector grab, what we're gonna have to do instead, oh, interesting. Yeah, it's gonna have to be this. And then honestly, it might just be replacing that. Where was the value at otherwise? There's like a base value. This must be disoriented to see on screen. So I'm just searching for something. I need the release value. So which would be over here? Ish. So let's test it with the vector one real quick, and then I can do the other changes off screen, and we'll come to an end of the video here soon. So break this link. Oop. Break this link. Oop. The only thing that would be interesting is if this is... Oh, wait, this is rotation. We would have to also override location. Which is what I'm saying. Like, we could do it over here. No, there's not really a good way to do it with the grab socket, because if I put it one way, either way, it's not going to be in the middle, because either it's going to be really in front of one hand, because it's minus 0.2 one way, minus that the other way. So that is that. As character test, get socket rotation. And then set actor rotation. Okay. What else I need to do is set actor location. Change that to that. Split structure. Yeah, this is gonna have to get a lot longer. Uh, yeah. Get socket location. Boom. Boom. Split struct. And then boom. X boom. Boom. And then, yeah, we're basically gonna have to do that up here, which we really don't got the room for. But for the sake of this example, we'll get it up there. And as long as this happens afterwards, which it does, but then again, it does snap to target, so I might have to change that method. There's gonna be a way that this works. Anywho, you just gotta keep on moving with it. So we can at least test it out once. Because right now the vector form is the only one struggling with it, which is interesting. Okay. Well, oh shoot, I put him down way too low. Okay. Well, I'm in vector form. I need you to be at least in vector form too. Working there. You're not in vector form. That sucks. Bleh. Seems to work now. I think it was against character. This one that was doing the funkiest. That might even just be some order stuff though. Oh yeah, it's still happening. So we fixed the issue. Honestly, it was really simple to fix. Just took me a different method of doing it than I had initially going. And it was mainly an issue because of Kid Cop also having a lot of translucency, character E, the robot. So if we look at some of the things I did, so now whenever there's heavy grabbing animations going on and any grabbing animation going forward that wants you to be forward or behind your opponent, we have ways of doing that now. So as you can see, it has an on enter event name being initiate grabbing. Initiate grabbing in this case, cast it to the character and make your sort order -1. So obviously grabs your vector, lower pixel and high pixel character, changes your translucent sort priority to -1. Your base is 0. Behind sort order -2, in case you need it to be even further behind. And a head sort order 1. I mean, I might create another one where it's 2 because there could be some good uses for that. Especially once if I add character N's ability to have fire on his fists, those will need to be at least a little bit ahead of him. So that could honestly probably be +1, and something else would have to be +2 if it wants to go further in front of that without being too far forward. Because right now the hands for character the higher hands, mere hands, all the hands that get added, their sort priority is 0. Sorry, 10. Render. Boom, there it is. Yep. Short priority 10, short distance 10. I'm not sure if that really changes the thing with the sort order. But yeah, and then even if you, let's go to the stun event, hit stun, the clear statuses has a call resume camera, yada yada, attack interrupted. Yes, at the end of this long chain of things that help reset all your attacks and all your variables, makes your hands go away, make sure you're not grabbed or grabbing. Front hand sprites all go away to 0. So there's nothing in front of you, and it changes your base order to 0. So that fixes the issue, and that's universal across all the 2D forms of character I now. So it works equally with everyone. So we are good to go. This part works. Now just to finish working on the rest of the animations, I just had a really good idea today for his charge attack, whether or not I go with it, because it could be another very complicated sort of puppeteering-esque move. Not that you can see right now. Let me move my face camera if I can. Boom, boom, boom. I'm not sure how that's going to work in the video if it lets me move it like that. Anywho, but as you see, Insect Phantom Conjurer. So there you go. So it just kind of conjures another version of him, which is already the idea for his super, essentially, is he's gonna conjure a giant version of himself around himself, kind of like a Susanoo from Naruto. But yeah, that's where we're at today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.